Yo, what up, everybody? What's happening? Wow, here we go, baby. Let's go. Friday, feeling good. The weekend is officially here. What a weekend it is going to be. Again, just a spectacular Thursday night football last night. Very surprised here. I mean, Colts, Broncos, Wilson, and Ryan kind of struggling to this point. Very impressed with what they were able to do last night. Got me in the mood to watch even more football all day Saturday. Aaron Murray, what's up, dude? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, man. The weekend is here. The tailgating
Yep.
plans are set in cement, and it's time to have some fun. And the weather is absolutely perfect. Like, there's nothing better than a fall weekend in the South, watching some football, drinking some beers, having a good time. So I'm excited. I wish I was in Athens tonight, and maybe I will go to Athens tonight. Maybe I'll convince the wife. Let's take a little trip down the whatever it's 316 to Athens and get a little rowdy. Start the weekend off on the right way.
Yeah.
Or I guess I can only get rowdy. She can't really do much.
Yeah, she's pregnant, but that's okay, man. That's okay. You know what? That's built-in designated driver. I have the same thing with my wife right now. And I made that trip up 316 quite a bit, man. Athens, great town. It's going to be, and you're right, like you talk about falls in the South. I mean, it's literally one of the core foundational building blocks of our culture. And so let's celebrate this culture with another weekend of best bets. 1 and 2 last week. Okay. Look, not good. Up from 0 and 3, but we're not happy about it. Okay. I'm in the film room. I'm getting better. I've been studying this board harder than a monk that just discovered an ancient Roman text that was buried in the back of some monastery for 700 years. Like, I have been pouring over the information, and I feel pretty damn good about it, Aaron. What about you, man? First time this year, you have not gone 2 and 1. I'm feeling a little burned by my Tigers.
Damn your LSU.
I know. I'm 6-9 on this season, by the way.
The two things that kill me this year are specialists, blocked field goal there in that Mississippi State game really hurt me. And then obviously your Tigers continue to disappoint both of us when it comes to the board. So I feel good. I was rolling 2 and 1 every single week this year, went 1 and 2 last week. So confidence got shot a little bit, but just like you, we're going to regroup. We're going to reevaluate. I am still 9 and 6 overall.
9 and 6. Yes. No, we do have a perfect symmetry. First off, yes. I am 6 and 9. Nice. And you are 96. Invert your number and you find my number. Together, we are 500. There's a beautiful mirroring here, which tells me an explosion of good is about to come out of this as we give you some nice picks this week. Aaron Murray, give me your first best bet for this weekend.
So I'm going to go to Arkansas at Mississippi State for my first one. Mississippi State 9.5-point favorites at home. I love this crowd. They're excited. They kind of have the feeling that, hey, man, we may be that second best team in the SEC West. They're going to be coming out with them cowbells ready to go. Mississippi State, as we know, that air raid offense, second in the SEC with 346 passing yards per game. Will Levis is a beast. They have multiple guys that have caught over 20 passes this season. There's some SEC teams that don't even have one receiver that has caught over 20 passes. I think Mississippi State has 2, 3, maybe 4 guys that are doing it. That's just how in tune and in sync this offense is right now. And when you want to talk about Arkansas, we've said it for weeks now, one of the worst passing defenses, T-Bob, in all of America, 124th in the country, 12th in the SEC, giving up 289 yards passing. So Mississippi State is going to have their way throwing the football. There's no doubt about it. I love their receivers. They're going to score a bunch of points. Mississippi, you flip it over to the other side, Arkansas right now, KJ Jefferson got banged up last week. Does he go? Does he not? I don't know. If he does, I think they may try to limit the amount of times that he's going to rush the football, which is going to hinder this offense. And I like Mississippi State on the defense side of the football. One of the better rushing defenses in the country. I think one of the better rushing defenses overall in the SEC and just defense in general. So I like that matchup on the other side. At home field advantage. I think Mississippi State's going to roll early in this one and kind of dominate the entire football game.
So I agree with you in that I saw this line and I immediately put it on my list as like, okay, maybe going to be best bet. Probably would have ended up on the list potentially. The only things that maybe give me pause is I'm not sure that Mississippi State's defense has actually been tested yet, right? Like, You look at who they played. LSU, that offense does not look very good. They ended up having success. Arizona's offense no good. Bowling Green, whatever. Texas A&M. Texas A&M is the ultimate get right game. Like the only reason why Arkansas isn't dead last in yards given up is because they had the benefit of playing Texas A&M, whereas Tennessee has not. So I got one question about State's defense still. And that's why, as a conditional bet, this is not one of my 3 best bets, but I am going to play this. If KJ Jefferson plays, I think I'm going with the over 59.5. And the only other thing that concerns me, this is a huge game for Mississippi State because they need to
I
prove
like
that this
though.
is not good. Yeah, look, because I can definitely see it, right? We know Rogers is coming in to put up points, and I think that KJ and company will as well. They've been very good in that regard this season. We'll see. The thing that I need to see from Mississippi State too, Aaron, is just like prove to me that you're not going to trip up this time, because this is a classic Mike Leach trip up spot where right when you start to believe in him and you give him the benefit of the doubt, they burn you. But they're at home. Great first best bet. Okay. Mine is one, Aaron, that I didn't think I was going to go to. It's one that I had to come back around to in time. And it is one that I now actually may feel the strongest about. And that is Kansas +7 at home playing host to TCU. And yeah, I see the little eyebrow raise. Oh, you little college football people, y'all are all so high on TCU right now, okay? But everybody is falling into a classic trap right now, okay? Yes, this is a classic brand trap. We are overvaluing TCU's Oklahoma win. Who else have they beaten? They haven't beaten anybody else. TCU has not. They beat SMU by 8. SMU just got their ass kicked last night, okay? TCU, you're overvaluing Oklahoma. Oklahoma's not good. They're 0-2 in the Big 12 with a loss to Kansas State, who lost to Tulane. Kansas State, only 2-point favorites against an Iowa State team that Kansas just beat as 3-point dogs. When are you going to learn, Aaron? 14-point dogs at home to West Virginia, whoop that ass. 3-point dogs at home to Iowa State, whoop that ass. Well, guess what? 7-point dogs at home once again? Fool me thrice? I think not. Rock, chalk, Jalen Hawk, okay? Oh, but Max Duggan's been so good. Jalen Daniels has essentially been the same player. They're the top 2 rated passers in the Big 12 right now. Duggan has slightly higher volume statistics, but enough to be negligible, okay? The Jayhawks are at home. Kansas +7. Book it.
I think this is when Kansas finally gets exposed for being a good football team, not a great football team. I'm with you. I'm totally against you on this one, T-Bob. This is going to be your first loss of probably 2 for the weekend. So TCU's going to get their ass.
You think TCU's going to kick that? What has TCU done, Aaron? Tell me.
I think TCU is going to roll, man. I like this offense. I like this football team right now. I like both. I think you're buying into this whole Kansas story.
Was it the win over? Was it the
I
win over?
I think you're buying into this whole Kansas story right now. Like you're like, oh, Kansas, they're back, or they're a good football team. We feel so sorry for them because they've been complete shit. Like, yeah, back since since 2010 or something like that. So not
no.
Back,
here's the deal.
Better.
Here's the deal. It's brand mix up here. We're too married to what Oklahoma has been, and that's why we're valuing TCU so highly, and we're too married to what Kansas has been, and that's why we continue to ignore the evidence in front of our face. TCU beat Tarleton State, SMU, and Oklahoma, okay? I'm not impressed. Get the hell out of here, TCU.
You say the same thing with Kansas, man. Who is Kansas beat too? So
what are you talking about? Both these teams. West Virginia, a solid Duke team, solid Iowa State team. Yeah, what are you talking about, man?
I wouldn't say Duke is solid. I think Duke has benefited from a somewhat easy schedule there in the ACC. And I mean, who's Duke beat? They beat Temple, Northwestern, North Carolina, AT&T, and Virginia.
Yeah, Kansas also whooped up on Houston, dude. Let's go, dude.
Okay.
Look,
we'll find out.
Whatever.
I don't like it. You like it. It's your bet, not my bet. So you put the money.
That's right.
You put your money on it. I ain't touching it. If I'm going to touch it, I'm putting it on TCU though. All right, let's go. My second best bet for the week: Texas Tech going to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State top 10 team. Texas Tech getting 9.5 points right now. Similar to like my first best bet of the day with Arkansas being pretty crappy when it comes to pass defense. You can say the same thing about Oklahoma State. Like, you turn on the film, you're like, man, these DBs are horrendous. 122nd in the nation in that category. And what does Texas Tech do best? They throw the football. That air raid system that is there, that is, what we think of when we think of Red Raider football. One of the best passing offenses in the country, the best passing offense in the Big 12, 362 yards per game. I love that matchup. I think Texas Tech is going to be able to score a ton of points. The big issue is going to be Donovan Smith, quarterback for Texas Tech, has had a little bit of an issue with turnovers this year, 7 interceptions. If he can take care of the football, they're going to put up a lot of points. This is going to be a shootout. That's going to be a high-scoring game. I think Oklahoma State sneaks us out with a win, but I think it's going to be more in that 7 range. And plus, I like that kind of, that hook with the 9.5 there. So give me the Red Raiders, keeping it close and throwing it all over the ballpark.
Okay, there you go, dude. A little air raid from Texas Tech. Shout out Guns Up Lubbock. That's what they say, guns up, right? It doesn't matter. My second best bet of the day. I am once again calling upon the power of the Penix as I'm riding with the Huskies. And as much as I am riding with Washington here, minus 13.5, I am really fading Arizona State. Yes, Washington's traveling to Arizona State this weekend. The Huskies right now 4-1. The Sun Devils 1-4. UCLA was very impressive over their win in Washington last week. UCLA, it might have been LA. It doesn't matter. But in their win over Washington last week, right? UCLA is also far better than Arizona State. Arizona State is a dumpster fire. They lost by 9 to Eastern Michigan at home. 17 to USC at home, 17 on the road at Oklahoma State. This is a Washington football team that's going to be looking to bounce back, looking to get some revenge for last week. Arizona State's pass defense isn't awful, but they're not going to be able to hang in this game. I like the Huskies minus 13.5 on the road in Tempe. Penix power.
Penix, baby. I like that one a lot better than your first pick of the day. All right, let's go to my third and final best bet of the weekend. South Carolina going to Kentucky. Kentucky off that rough loss last week. South Carolina, I think they're starting to feel themselves a little bit. Have had 2 wins against pretty bad teams, but they're 2 wins. And we'll see if they can continue that momentum. I don't think it happens. I think Kentucky comes out a little bit ticked off after the loss last week against Ole Miss. Only favored to win by 6 points. They're just a better football team. I had South Carolina a week ago, watching the tape, watching them live. They're just not very good. Just to be honest, like, they're not a good football team. I was there. I saw it. I was in the stadium. So I do think Kentucky is talented on both sides of the football. Their one struggle this year, as we all know, is rushing. Chris Rodriguez was back last week. I thought it definitely sparked the offense. Definitely not still to the level where you feel great about the running game, but third and fourth quarter, you saw him starting to wear out a little bit. His first game back, a lot of energy exerted there in the first and second quarter. I think he has his legs under him a little bit more here in his second game off the suspension, and no better team to get it going than against South Carolina, who is one of the worst rushing defenses in the SEC. Actually, number 13 rushing defense in the SEC, giving up 185 yards. So I think you're going to see a Kentucky team offensively that's going to finally be able to rush the football. Will Levis has to take care of it. I think that's to me, that's a big stat. Rattler's had some issues with turnovers this year. Will Levis has had some issues with turnovers this year. I trust Will Levis more than I do Spencer Rattler, and I trust Kentucky as a football team a lot more than I do South Carolina. I'm actually kind of surprised they're only 6-point favorite in this game. I just think they are just a way, way, way better football team. This is the one that I may, look to put the mortgage payment on, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, this one feels great.
Yeah.
I mean, especially after hearing you break it down, but it's a small number and you can argue it's stinky, but
Yeah,
not,
super stinky.
but even then I'm not overly concerned because I have way more trust in Kentucky and what they've established over the years. Firstly, South Carolina, that just hasn't really been impressive at all lately. Like for South Carolina to keep this close, I feel like they would have to turn in a performance they have not shown you this year, where I could point to multiple Kentucky performances that would win this game by 6. So that's a great pick, Aaron. That's a very good pick there. My next pick is probably the laziest logic I've ever applied. And it was not because like I just needed a third pick to film this, because I have plenty. I mentioned if KJ Jefferson plays, play the over in Arkansas and Mississippi State. If Quinn Ewers plays, I would take Texas -7 in that game as well. I will be betting those on Saturday. I kind of like Florida -7. Like you said, there's a lot on this board that I like, but I just remembered that Indiana lost by 14 to Nebraska last week. I think that's very hard to do.
Yeah.
I think Michigan is a very good football team. I think J.J. McCarthy is getting better. And, I mean, just in terms of overall team, defense, special teams, man-to-man, offensively, maybe outside of quarterback, Michigan is just leaps and bounds better than this Indiana Hoosier football team. So give me the Wolverines to cover 22.5 on the road, to cover 22.5 on the road. Michigan going to Indiana, getting it done, just with sheer overwhelming force.
I like that one. Yeah, it's you have to be pretty crappy to lose that game last week. So Michigan's getting better.
14.
I love the rushing attack. I don't believe in JJ just yet as a thrower, but running the football, I think they're going to have their way this entire afternoon.
Look, JJ needs to be a thrower to beat Ohio State, right? He doesn't need to be a thrower to cover this 22 against this Indiana football team. And I think this is a Michigan team that continues to kind of want to make statements every single week. Okay, Aaron, do you have any kind of bonus bets? Anything else before we wrap this thing up?
You know what? I hate to do it because I'm going to be in Athens this weekend, but I'm that Georgia getting or Auburn getting 29.5 points versus a Georgia team that's kind of struggled the past 2 weeks. Georgia's going to win this game. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think you see a team that comes off a little bit, comes out a little bit ticked off from the past 2 weeks and kind of lose that number one spot. But still, it is a rivalry game, the oldest rivalry in the SEC. Auburn has, guys on the defense side of the football. Georgia's still a little banged up. Jalen's out. AD Mitchell, I don't think he's going to be back. We'll see, but doesn't look like it. So, Georgia's right now not extremely healthy. And I thought last week you kind of saw that like Auburn still had some fight in them. Going and playing that game for LSU. Yes, they lost, and yes, they didn't perform in the second half, but there's still some fight. And in a rivalry game, things are always a little bit tighter. So, if I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to bet against my dogs, because I don't want to be cheering against them to dominate on Saturday. But that's just a lot of points in a big time rivalry game.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm staying away from this one. I do love though that you care about the age of the rivalry when it's your dogs and the SEC, but you don't give a fuck about Harvard Yale, the game that's been played since 1875. But sure, go ahead and celebrate your series that began in a 1902 or whatever. Freaking new guy. That's some millennial BS right there. Okay, the old school, the game. The best rivalry in college football. Well, that'll do it for today's Best Bet show. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, subscribe to the Snaps podcast. We'll be back with Snaps After Dark tomorrow night. I will definitely be available for this one as LSU plays very early in the day. Wonderful timing there. Remember to sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook app. I will probably put together another awful same game parlay for LSU this weekend that you are not going to want to miss. Okay, so sign up for FanDuel, promo code SNAPS. Aaron, anything to add? Have fun in Athens, dude. It's going to be a great time.
I appreciate it, man. I will try not to be slurring my words tomorrow night at late night for Snaps.
Let's go, dude. All right, we will see you for some Snaps After Dark, and then back on Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, here on the Volume Sports YouTube channel.